Welcome back to the Calm Mind channel. Today, we're diving into a topic that touches all of us at some point in our lives: failure. Yes, you heard it right, failure. It's a word that often brings up feelings of disappointment, frustration, and even fear. But what if I told you that failure doesn't have to be the end of the world? In fact, it can be the beginning of a new journey, a stepping stone to success. In this video, we're going to redefine how we perceive failure. We'll explore why it's an essential part of life, how we can learn valuable lessons from our mistakes, and most importantly, how to pick ourselves up, dust ourselves off, and move forward with renewed determination. We'll be covering a lot of ground, from understanding the role of failure in our lives, to learning from our mistakes, picking ourselves up after a setback, and finally, moving on with a positive mindset. So, if you've ever faced a failure and wondered what now, this video is for you. Remember, failure doesn't define us, it's how we respond to it that truly matters. So, let's get started on this journey of turning failure into success. Understanding failure. Let's start by understanding what failure really is. Many of us think of failure as a dead end, a sign that we're not good enough or that our dreams are out of reach. But that's not the case. Failure, in its simplest form, is just the lack of success in a particular endeavor. It's not a permanent state or a label that defines your worth. It's merely a result that didn't meet certain expectations at a specific point in time. Now, let's talk about some common misconceptions about failure. One of the biggest myths is that failure is always bad. But the truth is, failure can be a powerful teacher. It can show us where we went wrong, what we need to improve, and how to approach our goals more effectively. Another misconception is that successful people never fail. But if you look closely at the stories of the most successful people in the world, you'll find a common thread: they all experienced failure, often multiple times, before they achieved their success. And let's not forget the emotional side of failure. It's normal to feel disappointed, upset, or even embarrassed when we fail. But it's important to remember that these feelings are temporary. They don't define who we are or what we're capable of achieving. So, let's start seeing failure for what it really is, not a dead end, but a detour on the road to success. The role of failure in life. Now that we've redefined failure, let's delve into its role in our lives. You see, failure isn't just an unfortunate event that we should avoid at all costs. It's a fundamental part of life and growth. Think about it. When we're learning something new, whether it's riding a bike, playing an instrument, or starting a business, we're bound to make mistakes. And those mistakes, those failures, are what help us learn and improve. Let's take some examples from history. Did you know that Thomas Edison, the inventor of the light bulb, failed thousands of times before he finally succeeded? Or that J.K. Rowling, the author of the Harry Potter series, was rejected by multiple publishers before she became one of the most successful authors in the world? These stories remind us of a powerful concept: failing forward. This means using our failures as stepping stones towards success. Each failure brings us one step closer to our goal, teaching us valuable lessons and making us stronger and wiser. So, the next time you face a failure, remember, it's not a setback. It's a setup for a comeback. It's an opportunity to learn, grow, and move one step closer to your success. How to learn from failure. So, we've understood what failure is and its role in our lives. Now, let's talk about how we can learn from our failures. After all, the key to turning failure into success lies in our ability to extract lessons from our mistakes. Firstly, it's important to reflect on the situation. Instead of dwelling on the disappointment, ask yourself, what went wrong? What could I have done differently? What can I do better next time? This kind of self-reflection can help you identify the areas where you need to improve. Next, turn your failure into a learning opportunity. Write down the lessons you've learned and the steps you plan to take to avoid making the same mistakes. Remember, the goal isn't to avoid failure, but to learn and grow from it. And finally, don't be afraid to seek feedback. Sometimes, an outside perspective can provide valuable insights that we might have missed. Whether it's a mentor, a colleague, or a friend, don't hesitate to ask for their thoughts and advice. Learning from failure might not be easy, but it's a crucial step towards success. It allows us to turn our mistakes into stepping stones and our failures into opportunities for growth. Picking yourself up after failure. Experiencing failure can be tough, and it can knock our confidence. But remember, it's not about how many times you fall, it's about how many times you get back up. So, let's talk about how to pick ourselves up after a failure. Firstly, it's important to practice resilience. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from setbacks and keep going despite the challenges. It's about acknowledging the failure, accepting the emotions that come with it, and then moving forward with determination. Next, work on regaining your confidence. Remember, one failure doesn't define your abilities or your worth. Remind yourself of your past successes, your strengths, and your potential. Use positive affirmations, visualize your success, and don't let self-doubt hold you back. And finally, maintain a positive mindset. It's easy to fall into the trap of negative thinking after a failure. But negativity only breeds more failure. Instead, focus on the positive aspects, the lessons learned, and the opportunities ahead. Picking yourself up after a failure might seem daunting, but remember, every setback is a setup for a comeback. Moving on after failure. We've talked about understanding failure, learning from it, and picking ourselves up. Now, let's discuss the final step, moving on after failure. Because, at the end of the day, life goes on and so must we. Firstly, it's important to let go of past failures. Holding on to past mistakes can hold us back from future successes. Acknowledge the failure, learn from it, and then let it go. Remember, you are not your failures. You are the courage that keeps going despite them. Next, set new goals and create a plan for success. Use the lessons you've learned from your failure to inform your new plan. Be specific about what you want to achieve, how you plan to achieve it, and when you plan to achieve it. And remember, it's okay to start small. Small steps can lead to big successes. And finally, stay motivated and focused on the future. Keep your eyes on your goals, not on your failures. Surround yourself with positivity, whether it's positive people, positive affirmations, or positive experiences. And remember, every day is a new opportunity to try again and get one step closer to your success. Moving on after a failure might seem challenging, but with the right mindset and the right plan, you can turn any failure into a future success. Conclusion. Well, we've covered a lot of ground today. We've redefined failure, understood its role in our lives, learned how to extract lessons from our mistakes, discussed how to pick ourselves up after a setback, and explored how to move on with a positive mindset. Remember, failure is not the opposite of success, it's a part of it. It's not a dead end, but a detour on the road to success. It's not something to be feared, but something to be embraced, learned from, and used as a stepping stone towards our goals. As the great inventor Thomas Edison once said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." So, the next time you face a failure, don't see it as a setback, see it as an opportunity. An opportunity to learn, to grow, and to get one step closer to your success. And remember, you are not defined by your failures, but by your ability to rise after falling. So, keep going, keep learning, and keep striving for your success. Because every failure is a step forward, and every step forward brings you one step closer to your success. Thank you for joining us on this journey of turning failure into success. We hope you found this video helpful and inspiring. Remember, failure is not the end, it's just the beginning of a new journey. So, keep going, keep growing, and keep shining. Until next time, stay positive and stay strong.